Tuesday, they released the last 2-minute report confirming what Kings fans already knew, and that Klay Thompson did, in fact, foul Kevin Huerter on the last play of the game. Kings fans watched that be a no call on Monday night. And they missed a couple other calls during that game that, you know, were good for the Warriors. And man, it's been frustrating watching the officiating for the last couple games, because 2 games before that you had the Tyler Hero travel that turned into the game winner. So this Klay Thompson no call was just like, it just stung a little more because of that Hero no call. And man, rough start to the week. But John, how are you feeling?
Well, yeah. I mean, before getting into the road trip, just kind of zeroing in on the officiating you're talking about there. It's been a rough go for Sacramento all year. I think one of the consistent things is the fact that, De'Aaron Fox, despite being one of the best players at getting into the paint, is not in in the very top of free throw attempts or free throws awarded, however you want to look at it. And, there's been the fact that, as we discussed with Domas, it really boils down to the fact that it seemed like for a long time there, Domas never caught a break when it came to fouls. If ever it was a coin flip, it seemed to always go the other way. And then these instances happen on the road trip. I think the Tyler Hero one, it's been kind of a split crowd, I think, on it. There's been a lot of people that have been like, that shouldn't have won the game. And I think I kind of come from the standpoint a little bit more where it's like, I don't know if they would have really ever called that. I don't know. But I think I'm very sympathetic to the fact that, one of the things the refs in the NBA want to do this year is get rid of traveling, get rid of discontinued dribbles, things like that. They want to clean that up because, frankly, it's always been a bad look for basketball, just the blatant travels and whatnot. So to miss it on that, it seems counterintuitive to that overall goal. And, I guess as a Kings fan, it would be very, very hard not to look at that and see, hey, I'm getting screwed. But it was just a really, really shitty night for NBA officiating on Monday for that Warrior game. I mean, not only Klay Thompson fouled him basically twice on the shot attempt, right in front of the official. It was crazy that none of the officials called that. Any of them could have blown the whistle on that, I'm sure. It was so obvious. You could just see it live from the typical TV angle that it was a foul. Even with, people courtside and the referees and whatnot, and other players standing in the way, you could totally see it. Just really, really, really frustrating for anybody. I think regardless if you're a basketball fan or not, I think Mike Brown put it well. It's like, we want to have a chance to go to overtime. They earn that chance to go to overtime. There's a good chance Huerter knocks down those free throws. And who knows what happens at that point. But never given a chance. And that's just ridiculous. And on top of the fact, I think, there was about 4 minutes, there was about a minute and a half left in the game. And the officials stopped play to talk to NBA headquarters or whatever. And it was about a play that happened like 5 minutes earlier about a shot clock violation that was not called on the Warriors that basically gave the Warriors 2 points. They stopped play to talk about it. They couldn't do anything because it was 5 minutes ago in play. And so it amounted to nothing. And, as is always the case, there's missed calls here and there. It's just those 2 things in particular, though, just like nobody wants to see that. I don't think anybody that's interested in the sport of basketball benefits from that kind of officiating. And like Kevin Huerter said, there's just no accountability, and it's frustrating for anybody.
Yeah, and on top of that last 2-minute report, they also missed a traveling call by Steph. Like a few
and
seconds
it's that
earlier.
traveling thing again.
Yeah, exactly. It was a travel. Yeah, like good way of cracking down on traveling, right? Um, I'm not saying the Kings would have won either of these games. In question, the Hero game, the Heat game, or Monday night's game against the Warriors. It was still tied, I guess, if you take away or if you give Huerter those 3 free throws and assuming he makes all three, or you take away Hero's three, the Kings still have to make a bucket on the other end. But like you said, we'll never know, and possibly, like potentially, the Kings could be on a 5-game winning streak and standing at 5-4. But I don't know, especially those late game calls. Nothing's worse than those. It's like, like you take those ones in the middle of the game. It's like whatever, but man, it's hard. It's hard watching those late game calls go against you, and it is nothing you can do. And I saw Herder and Fox went to Twitter, and Herder's like, there's nothing you can do except get fined at this point. It's ridiculous. Like someone needs to be held accountable. And Fox, I think, commented on I think Clutch Points tweeted like, was this a foul or not? And posted the video, and Fox is like, LMFAO. Like, you guys are stupid. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean was this a foul? Like, do you not see Clay? Not only does Clay hit Herder's elbow while going up, and then like hit his hand again on the follow through, he has his left arm on Herder's back, and then he also doesn't really give him any room to close out or to land. He kind of closes out under Huerter. It was just, oh man, I don't know.
The interesting thing too is I just feel like I just from an outside perspective, the thing that really irks me is it's like, the Kings are getting dicked this season, but it's like, who's bitching at the refs all game? And who's always bitching at the refs all game? Steve Kerr and fucking Draymond Green. And even Steph Curry got teed up. It was really funny because when Steph Curry got teed up, you could see Chimezie Metu on the bench just like put his arm out, like, throw him out. I don't know. It was really funny, but it just seemed like you could hear Draymond and one of the refs just like kind of going back and forth there as everybody was lined up for a free throw attempt. And it's just like, I don't know, man. It's like, it just seems so, it's like, there's no respect for the NBA officials on my part or anybody's part, because it's just like, they just get tugged around. They get tugged around into giving the benefit of the doubt to the champs, even though they're not playing like the champs. And that's nothing. That's nothing to say that. It's not to say the Kings are playing like champs or anything like that. But it's just from that standpoint, just on that eye test alone, like that's so irritating. It's so stupid. It's just like, I don't know. It's like they have. It just seems like there's little respect going around, and yet time and time again, the refs are bending over for the Warriors. And any team, it seemed like for the most part. But it's just, I don't know. I get it. It's like they win a championship. They're a dynasty. I get it. They're Hall of Famers on the team. I have a ton of respect for the Warriors, but it's just like, what did that say about that ruins the game. That ruins the special special nature of that team and that dynasty. It's just so stupid. It just it irks anybody, I think.